For the people that are here, all right, let me go grab my note card real fast with my notes, because that's the whole purpose of us even doing this in the first place, is to go over my notes for the NFC. Actually, not for the whole NFL, but I've noticed a trend with the NFC. So shout out to the NFL for putting together a great weekend of football. Can't believe I forgot my notes, but I gotta go back in the crib. We're gonna go back in the crib and we're gonna grab my note card. Welcome to La Casa de DMV. Uh, Also, if you do pop up, you know what I'm saying, say what's going on. Say what's going on. You know, make sure I don't get my address number. So that some crazies out there. Some crazies out there for sure. Alrighty. So I see we got somebody hit the like button that's here. So say hello to your boy. So we want to make sure that we good to go. What's up, Kelvin? Can you hear me loud and clear? Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And we're gonna get into my top 5 key points from the week, and then we can kind of chat. What's going on, John? What's going on, John? We are definitely that's that actually one of my top 5 key points. So shout out to the fan base, man. Shout out to the fan base. All right, cool, cool, cool. So I got some honorable mentions. Now I have a top five. I have a top five of points that I want to talk about. But my two honorable mentions, and I know that I got the thumbnail. I know that Micah's in the thumbnail. But Micah is only the honorable mention. He's only the honorable mention. And if I'm being honest with y'all, Micah went off. Micah had a good game. Shit, 10 pressures, 3 sacks. That's the guy that they paid $47 million to a year. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even really like to put the value on a player like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you get what you earn. So shout out to him. 10 pressures, 5 tackles, 3 sacks. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. My second one, and I'm actually gonna do my RB1 films on this guy. So make sure you tune in. This week was really tough, guys. It was really tough. Javante Williams went crazy. You know what I'm saying? Chase, I forget his last name, but Chase went crazy for Cincinnati. Um, CMC went crazy. He had a hell of a day. And honestly, my vote on Twitter or X was Javante Williams won out, obviously, because most of the fan base is Cowboy fan. But CMC's 200 yards from scrimmage, like over 200 yards from scrimmage, absolutely nuts. But Jameer Gibbs said, "Hold my damn beer," and that's who I'm going to be doing my RB1 films on this week. Jameer Gibbs. I've already clipped up everything, so it's just a matter of putting it together, making making it look real pretty for you guys. Showing the diagram, showing some of the things that Detroit was able to do. But Jameer Gibbs just has a skill set in the NFL that nobody else has. Jonathan Taylor went crazy too. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor uh, was almost a repeat offender on the RB1 films. He had 3 touchdowns. I think he had 18 carries for like 94 yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that. Jonathan Taylor is going absolutely stupid right now. Um, Bijan, I did the film on him last week. I might have jinxed him. I might have jinxed Bijan, but he went absolutely. He had an okay game. You know what I'm saying? He had an okay game. Not so much on the ground, but catching the football, he had a solid game against the 49ers. But yeah, I mean, Gibbs went crazy. So that's who's going to be my RB1 films person this week. And I can't wait to show you guys what I have. What's up, Lola? Oh yeah, and I also want to say, what's going on, Regina, John, and Kelvin. If I didn't say what's up to you guys, what's going on with y'all, man? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And let's get into these top 5 key points. Yeah, another thing, another disclaimer. I appreciate y'all for being with me today while I do my walk. So I'm on day 51 of the 75 hard challenge. So Jay Tuck told me, he was like, I need a partner to do this stuff. I need a partner. Oh, let me wipe this screen down for y'all real quick. Because for some reason it looked real foggy. All right. That looks a hell of a lot better. Okay. So Jay Tuck was like, man, I need a partner. I need an accountability partner to do this 75 hard challenge. And Tuck folded like twice on your boy. But that's all good though, because my boy got back on track. But I'm on day 51 right now. I don't know if y'all can tell, man. Face is all clear. Face is getting a little bit more sunken in. I done dropped close to 20 pounds. So we doing real good with the 75 hard challenge. And I can't wait to show everybody like what it looks like at the end of it. But I feel wonderful. So y'all, this is part of one of my workouts today. Shit, I might have to walk down the street. I might have to walk down the street that ain't got no damn traffic because I can't even hear myself. Hey, do it, Calvin. Do it, bro. I feel phenomenal, bro. NC Street News says F Micah. Yeah. All right. So my top 5 key points from week 7. I was I gotta say this to the Cowboys community. I gotta say this to Dak Prescott. This is why this was the first point. I probably should have led with this, but when I started these notes yesterday, it was before the Monday Night Football. What I probably got to do is I probably should write my notes after Monday Night Football. But Dak Prescott, you sir, I was not familiar with your game. I'm not gonna say I wasn't familiar with your game, but when you give Dak Prescott a true X and George Pickens, when you give Dak Prescott the protection and you give him a run game like they've been able to do, you know, Dak Prescott to me is sitting in the MVP conversation. And it's not him being at the bottom tier. It's not him being in the second tier. Dak Prescott definitely is right up there with Baker Mayfield, maybe Jonathan Taylor. I know they don't typically give it to running back, but Dak Prescott is right there. If I had a vote right now, I would vote for Dak Prescott to be MVP. Um, if they had just even a smidge of defense, and you saw it this weekend with the Cowboys, just having a smidge of defense, it's not even close. You can't guard everybody. Dak is just playing on another level right now. He's playing on another level. It's unmatched right now with his IQ, with how he's getting rid of the ball, how he's getting it out to his different receivers, how he's getting them into the best possible plays. Um, Dak Prescott. And I made some comments after an emotional playoff game last year where Washington went and destroyed Detroit. I I said that Jayden Daniels was better. And I came into the season and I had Jayden Daniels in my top 5. And I still think really highly of Jayden Daniels. And I know that Jayden Daniels did not have anything close to anything on Sunday. But this is where I owe Dak the apology. I'm still high on Jayden Daniels. I still think he's a really good quarterback. But that was never an excuse for Dak Prescott. There were a lot of times Dak had probably just as much as Jayden had on Sunday, which was a big argument for me as to why I thought Jayden was better because Jayden didn't have no weapons really like that last year. And they still were able to get to the NFC Championship game. But head to head, it's a little bit different. And if I'm being quite honest with y'all, Jayden Daniels still has not come to Dallas and finished the game. He has been Jayden Daniels has been dominated in both performances, stepping on Dallas soil. Jayden Daniels has yet to produce in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And this, I mean, part of it is being able to show up against your rivals. If we're being honest, against the East, I don't know that I see him really doing what he kind of does against everybody else. But yeah, my number one point was, man, you give Dak a proper 1 and 2, which in his case he got two number ones. You got a running game, very very dangerous. And I now have, I think Dak is probably playing the best football out of all of the quarterbacks. I had Baker slightly ahead, but last night, hell, you can't even blame some of the receivers going down. Baker was missing throws. Guys were open. You know what I'm saying? So I think you got to put Dak at the top. He's playing the best ball right now out of all of the quarterbacks. He just is. You know what I'm saying? I know it's still early. I know it's week 8. This is going to be the start of week 8. And, there's a lot of football left to be played. Right now, Dak Prescott playing at probably the highest level that I've ever seen him play. And that's even going back to his all pro year. You make him comfortable, and he's showing you what he can do. Number 2, watch out for the Chiefs. This is my second point. The Chiefs, they got Rasheed Rice back. Rasheed Rice scored 3 touchdowns. Pat Mahomes is playing at a high level. So I talked to Rio and my boy Danny every day. And, he was the one who kind of, I mean, people have been talking about Pat, but you know that the Chiefs aren't really the same type of team. They're not as, quite frankly, I don't even like watching the Chiefs play football anymore. I used to like watching them, but right now, it just looks a little bit ugly. I think that they'll probably turn it on, but if you think about over the years, the Chiefs have played a lot of football. They played a ton of football over the last couple of years. So for them getting a win is just getting a win. So it might not be as entertaining. They're trying to kind of get through the season so that they can get to the postseason. And but with that being said, they put together a master performance on Sunday, beating the Raiders 31-0. Now I don't think much highly of the Raiders, but what I'm saying is with Rasheed Rice getting back, it looked like back to business. And as we know, the chemistry between him and Mahomes is a very good chemistry. Xavier Worthy is starting to build the chemistry with Pat Mahomes, and Pat is out there dealing. You know what I'm saying? If you put side by side, I said Dak is playing the best ball right now. Pat Mahomes is slightly behind him, so it's damn near even. You put their stats and you put their performances next to each other, damn near even. Gucci said Bo Nix. Bo Nix is playing well too. Bo Nix is playing well too. He had a good win. But I can't overlook them being blank for 3 quarters. Like what I watched Dak do against the damn Giants. Like it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't close. Number 3, my third point. My phone is going down rapidly. I left the house and my phone was at a certain percent, and I don't know if adding this little selfie stick or whatnot is making it go faster or whatnot. But I got to get through this. Bears and Panthers are better than what people think. And I think that a lot of people, me being, a lot of the following being Cowboys fans, so I do have to talk to the Cowboys faithful a lot more. Cowboys lost to them. It looked like this is just not a good football team. The Cowboys are not a very good football team. And I've said that multiple times. And I still don't know what Dallas is, to be honest with you. I don't know what that defense is. Just because they played man to man coverage this week and they got a couple of stops against the depleted Washington team doesn't mean that this defense is back or doesn't mean that the defense can continue that when you do and that offense can put pressure on folks. When you look against the Bears and the Panthers, Bryce Young probably had one of his best games. Caleb Williams didn't struggle at all. He just kind of came up and executed like it's supposed to look. And so, but I think that the Bears and the Panthers they got wins this week. So They are a lot better than what people think. I just mean like from a competitive standpoint. The Bears are 4-2 right now, and the Panthers are 4-3. The Panthers have found a formula behind Rico. Now, with that being said, they kind of sputtered. They kind of, I mean, it was an ugly win against the Jets, which I know a lot of people are looking and saying it's just the Jets. But still, when you could put together a couple of wins in a row, 3 wins in a row, that's not an easy thing to do in the NFL, no matter who your opponent is. So I'm gonna stand by that and say, watch out for the Bears and Panthers. This is why I'm saying that the NFC is lit. When you start looking at the standings, it's getting really, really tight, and a lot of these guys are gonna have to play each other. There's no top dog really in the NFC, so they're gonna have to fight this out. Somebody's going to be alpha at the end of this. The Eagles have a good record. They're 5-2, but they're not playing good football right now. I don't think you can say that they're playing consistent football right now. Are they winning? Yes. But is there anything that they can kind of hang their hat on and you go and say they have that identity? They've had that over the years. I don't think that Philadelphia has that right now. I don't think you can really say they're a top dog. The Buccaneers showed you that they're a good team, but Detroit at home, it was just a different energy that the Buccaneers just was not ready for. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't block them up front. The secondary for the Lions looked real good last night. The Lions showed you in week one that the Packers could dominate them up front with adding Micah Parsons. Um, but you know what I'm saying? They're playing good football right now. Then Green Bay, to me, Green Bay is consistent football right now. You don't know what Green Bay is, but Green Bay is a 4-2-1. No, 4-1-1. Green Bay is 4-1-1. So you start looking at the NFC, and there is a lot of very good teams that they're gonna have to fight it out. And so I really, I'm gonna enjoy how this season plays out. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Dallas Cowboys, for example. Dallas is 3-3-1. I think Washington's a good team. I think they're a good team. They might not go to the playoffs, but I do think they're a good team. They were depleted in that game. I will say that they were depleted, but you can still count that as a win because the Dallas Cowboys hadn't been able to stop anybody. Doesn't matter who the hell it was. So they kind of needed that. And if you can, confidence is everything in the NFL. And I think that Javante Williams, for one, and Rico Dowdle, just the running backs alone can show you what confidence can do. They can take your talent to another level. And I think that teams are starting to do that. So I think it's pretty cool. Number four, and this might be the most underrated point. The Colts might be the best team in the NFL right now. I know it's early. The way that they're able to run the football, their identity, Daniel is able to feed off of the run game and execute at a high level. You know, at a higher level than we had ever seen him do that. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, whatever you call them, Colts and five. The Colts are playing really good football right now. They're getting timely stops when they need to. Defense is playing well. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, every time you look, the Colts are just pummeling somebody or winning the game the right way. I think that right now they're playing the most complete football out of any team. You know what I'm saying? So if you're unfamiliar with the Colts, go check them out. They're playing ball right now, and I really like it. Boney Stark said Draco May. Yeah, Drake May is playing pretty good ball right now, for sure. He's definitely playing top tier ball right now, for sure. Yeah, the Patriots. So it's like the AFC. It's like the AFC is so weird right now. You look at the AFC standings, and you look over there. It looks old school. It looks like it used to look. Like you got the Patriots. Um, you got the Colts. Like remember when it was Brady versus Manning? This is kind of what it looks like. It looks like Brady versus Manning during that era when you look at the standings over there. But they don't have the storylines that the NFC has. And I can tell you, I'm looking on the thumbnail right now, the thumbnail that I created with Dak and Micah, and I'm telling you guys, that's going to be a matchup in the playoffs. I think that that's going to be a matchup in the playoffs, and it's probably going to break all types of wild card or divisional playoff records as far as the ratings go. But I think that that's what's going to set up. If Dallas's defense can be what they were on Sunday, which wasn't perfect, but it was enough. If that defense can kind of show up like that consistently, I think Dallas will be a playoff team, and we'll probably see Green Bay and Dallas at some point. And my fifth point, who the hell else knew that the 49ers was 5-2, bro? Because I didn't know that the 49ers was winning games. I thought the 49ers were playing bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to be covering the whole NFL and talking more NFL and more broad. So I'm trying to do that. With that being said, the 49ers are 5-2, and they beat a solid Atlanta Falcons team who was going into that game the number one defense in the NFL, which I didn't know. I didn't know that Atlanta was the number one defense until I was looking up top defenses. Like, my mother and I and my son, we were all having a debate about who does what against what defense. And you look and I'm like, Atlanta's the number one defense overall. That's crazy. Because I would have thought if somebody would have told me off the top, I would have thought it was Cleveland. But it's not Cleveland. The Broncos are number two. Or they might not be number two now, but they were number two. And I'm just like, what? That's crazy. But yeah, don't look now, but the 49ers, and it's scary because Brock Purdy plays well in the playoffs. He plays well in the playoffs if they can get him back. But, the 49ers can put together runs in the playoffs. So they're winning games right now. It might not be style points. And I think that that's the biggest thing right now. If people can look past style points, teams like the 49ers are very, very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? But like we said, a whole bunch of things got to play out. Seattle's playing solid. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of good NFL, NFC teams, a lot of storylines. You know what I'm saying? The Arizona Cardinals can show up, then not show up. You know, it's crazy. So let's look at some of these comments. Boney Starks said Dallas defense is awful. Mac Jones balling too. NFC is weird. Yeah, NFC is definitely weird. Cardinals may be a sleeper too. They may be, and it's like you look at their roster, you look at how they draft sleeper. They should be a sleeper. You know what I'm saying? So no, like with Bonnie Stark saying that Dallas defense is awful. That's how I know. That's why I was like, man, you got to have Dak high in the MVP conversation right now. Have to. And this is somebody that is. I'm not overly high. So what I mean by that is I'm not a Dak lover. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna defend him at all costs. But I'm going to tell you when he's playing really good football. And I've always been like that. There's also been times where I don't want to say things because I think if he is playing bad or if I am critical of him, then the haters are gonna ride and say those things and they're just gonna be like DMV said this, DMV said that. You know what I'm saying? Like I try and call it straight down the middle, and that's where it is. I think Dak is playing the best football of his career right now. All right, chat, man. Those were my points, man. I got those points out. I got a couple of minutes left. You know what I'm saying? Before my phone that absolutely goes dead. But Boney Star said that tie or loss to Carolina is going to hurt Dak. But Carolina 4-0 since losing to the Pats. Yeah, that's what I don't know if you was here when I was saying it, but that was my third point. The Bears and the Panthers are they're better than what people think. They're definitely better than what people think. The Bears were able to beat Dallas and Washington, which I think that those wins will be uh, those wins will help them when it comes to the playoff race. A lot of sneaky good teams in the NFC. And if I'm being honest with you, than the AFC, I think. as I'm looking at the running games, as I'm looking at the running backs, I've been doing the RB1 films and all that stuff. I want to say that I might have done more NFC backs right now. Uh, and it's about to be another NFC back with when I get to Gibbs. It's going to be another one. And it was like the top three that I was looking at this week were Javante, McCaffrey, and Gibbs. Those were my top three. Not to say that Jonathan Taylor couldn't have been one of them too. The Colts play very physical. The Colts play a physical brand of football, and it's winning them games. Ju- Drusilla McMillan said, "Just wait and see about the Cowboys." Yeah, I mean, you have to. I think that they're one of the wait and see teams. They could be really, really good, or they could underperform. And I know that that sounds really simple, and I know that. But if you look at them, that's what they've shown you this year. So you can only really go off of what you've seen if you're calling it down the middle. Now, as a fan, you have to be optimistic somewhat. With the offense playing the way that it is right now, and a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of Cowboys faithful, talking about F them draft picks and going to go make a splash on defense could definitely help this group. Max Crosby has popped up in a lot of conversations. The Cowboys can go get Max Crosby. I think that you're looking at this team a lot different. Talking to Tuck in Rome, I think if they had kept Micah, this is probably the Cowboys are probably a championship contender if they had kept him and figured it out and maybe next year moved them or whatnot. But if they had gone for broke this year with what they have, I think the Cowboys would be a championship contender for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that they probably will be, but you never know. Vosh Lombardi brought up a good point. You talking about the future, but the way that this offense is playing right now, you can't guarantee in the future that they'll play this hot or they'll play this well. You gotta it. So my phone is dying, and I gotta end this. My bad, y'all. But I appreciate y'all, man. We out. Peace.